find my put my position when I go from positive to negative like that, right? Like when I hit the in arch in my position,
Hmm.
all you have to do is figure out where the tangent line is at a slope of 0, the velocity is 0. So you just f prime of x equals 3x to the second. And then all you have to do from there is set it equal to 0. So you're like trying to find your velocity of 0, and the answer's 1 and -1. Uh, if you do the math, and if you graph it out, those points are -1, 1. Like, oh, that's cool.
So that's how you know.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and you know for certain, and you don't have to graph it and like pick a point or guess. It's not useful like as much in small functions like this, but when you're working with like economic trend lines and like huge scale things or even small scale things, um, like it helps a lot. And you start to like if you, for example, like if you ever took a calc class like in the future out of like a whim, um, these things start to become visible to you in like everyday life. Like, I'm serious.
I know you are. That's why it's awesome.
It's like what was it? There's this guy. This dude. This dude right here. He was in a car accident in like the 90s or something, and or 2002, and he hit his head when he got like mugged or something, and the way his brain was impacted, it connected by after it like rebuilt itself, accidentally connected part of the subconscious brain that is determining these like calculations and some of the conscious brain, because like when you throw a ball, you're not thinking like, okay, the gravitational constant of earth is -9.8 meters per second, so when I throw this ball at this angle at this speed, it'll hit that person's hand at approximately this time at this distance.
Mm-hmm.
Like you're not thinking of that, but like you kind of are. So when you throw the ball at that just right toss and it happens, your brain is like secretly calculating with more like visual geometry than anything.
Mm-hmm.
But what he sees now, because of that, is like fractals in calculus, and fractals are just infinitely divisible calculus tangent lines of things. He drew this like right after he had no experience in math, and there's been like, I thought it was kind of sus, but like I've studied it and a little bit, like researched it, and like even the like Harvard and stuff has been doing tests with him and has proven him to like actually be able to see this kind of stuff. But like he recognizes the patterns and things like that, and like of course obviously I don't have that because I don't have brain damage,
That's right.
but uh like you start to see those things, my guy.
Tangent. The way I was explained is it's like you never actually get there.
Touch. Yeah,
Yeah.
it's like, do you know what like the concept of infinitesimal is?
Yeah. Like
It's like that.
you walk and then half that and you never get there.
Yeah,
Yeah.
like, basically that exactly. Oh, something else calculus lets you do is like an asymptote. That's not how you spell asymptote.
Like
Asymptote.
asymptomatic, but it's asymptote.
Like that. Your asymptotes, Um, there's no way without calculus to determine at what like point that is. Like you could say like, oh, it looks like it's -5 right there. Like, can you prove it? No. So with calculus, and the reason you can't really prove it is because, like, for example, with this, I wonder if they actually have the equation here, so that I could. Oh, this is for. That's not something we need. That's for CSI. I don't know if they'll show the equation. Oh, here. No, that's still 1/x. That works. Okay. So 1/x, super basic function, right? That's what it looks like. It's two asymptotes, obviously. And the thing is, like, what number is it approaching as it approaches 0 from either side? Like from the right side here, as it approaches 0, what happens? Like as you put a smaller and smaller number that's still positive for x, like 1/100 trillion, or 1/0.0 repeating like 36 times,
Hmm.
is a huge number, and the smaller number you put down there, the bigger number you get. So it approaches like infinity, but you can never like put 0 in there. But with calculus, you can use a term called h, and it represents an infinitesimally small number. So you can assume like what 0 would look like there without actually doing it. And that lets you like find those instantaneous velocities, because what you're really doing is finding the slope between two infinitely small, or it's like I'm a visual person. On your graph, and you're trying to find the slope at like this point. What you're really doing, if you zoom in like infinitely, is there's really a point here, and a point here, that distance is h, which is like 0.0 repeating 1, and you're finding the slope between those lines, or those dots. And you can do that with calculus.
With calculus.
Of course. I don't know if there's like any like this. See? So you can like simplify these equations, put numbers in, figure out the number it approaches as it approaches a point. And there's all kinds of fun stuff you can do with that. Like I said, I would love to like actually teach you this. I can't explain it without like teaching it. You know what I mean?
Of course.
It's like trying to explain like how to drive a car without just like getting in a car and being like, drive.
Let's fucking go. I would much rather do this than queue for comp.
What, learn calc?
Yeah.
I'm telling you, man, if you want to learn calc, hit me up anytime.
I'm about it. Okay. Well,
Just gotta grab my like drawing tablet.
yeah. My sister just gave me her iPad because she's trying to sell it. So I'm gonna math on that thing.
Yeah. And let's see. So my in calc right now, because I'm currently in the class. I've already taken it before. I'm just I took it senior year, but like my credit didn't transfer correctly. So
you took calculus in high school?
Yeah.
Jesus.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's normal. Duh.
Here we go. Rates of change. I don't remember doing this. Probably because I didn't.
Analytic geometry. And calculus.
Analytic geometry. Oh, so that's another thing about calculus. Some of the other thing you can do is like under a curve, you can find the area under that curve.
Dude, we're doing this like with primitive man tools in physics right now.
Yeah. So that's the thing. When they teach you it in physics, they teach it to you in these like, they might not teach you this even, but um, here, yeah, they don't give you all the tools that would make it so easy.
Yeah.
But the thing that calculus does here is like you see these chunky bits. How they're not they're not very fine, so they kind of go over in some places and under in others.
Yeah.
Because of that, like you're not getting an exact value. It's like actual areas calculated there, estimated, you get that.
Hmm.
With calculus, you can create that derivative which perfectly finds the area under these curves,
Oh
like
my
to an
god.
exact value.
It's
And what that's
dithering.
useful for, think about this. Uh, I'm tying it into music for you.
Yeah.
Audio bit rate.
Yep. Yep. Yep.
So instead of having a couple pieces, what you can theoretically do with math in a song is uh, get a perfect like analog curve that can be digitized with equations, because you can find that perfect actual area and a function, and then you no longer have low chunky 8-bit audio and you have perfect analog curves with calculus.
My god.
Calculus is really just like fancy algebra, I'll be honest. There's nothing actually like mentally different from it. It's just a way, it's just rearranging numbers to think about things differently. Now, the only thing that calculus can't explain is light reflecting and how it can instantaneously change velocity direction.
What math do you need for that?
There isn't one.
No shit. On this planet.
That it's either presumed that the light um, either slightly bends the mirror, which like acts as its way of like slowing down, or light can technically change speed based on the material it's in. So like light speed isn't a constant.
Yeah.
Also, it's impossible to measure the speed of light in a one directional way, because um, let's see. I want to find the graphic really quick of what I'm talking about. I'll have to paint it for you again. But so say I have a flashlight, right? And it's shining light. I have a clock over here. Doot, 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 doot.
Hmm.
Clock.
There you go.
And I have a little button that when I press this button, push. There's a wire connected to this,
Okay.
right?
Okay.
And there's a wire connected to this clock that has the little like sensor on it. And the light starts shining and the clock starts ticking. And you'd be able to say like, okay, if this is like 1 kilometer, light speed is about 300 million kilometers per second. So that means it should take 1/300 millionth of a second. That's what the clock should be at. And then we know what the speed of light is. It's like, okay, sure, that checks out. For the two-directional speed of light, what does this mean? Well, if I push this button, it is impossible to assume that the speed of light both is 300 million meters per second, like is c the speed of the assumed speed of light in both directions. Because say the light this way is half of that, and light this way is twice that, and electricity moves at the speed of light. That's like the speed limit of the universe. So if it moves this way at half, and it moves in this randomly assigned universal polar direction at 2, that means it takes it takes twice as long to get to here, but then it goes this way really quick at twice the speed.
That doesn't
So
make sense.
and then it averages out to 1. And the light going from here that would start the time is a little bit slower than the light that goes here to start the light. So you would get an incorrect measurement, but it would read on the clock that light came at, c light speed, but it's impossible to prove that. Because no matter what, it could even be going this way at infinite speed instantaneously, and it could be going at this speed at 1 infinite of itself. You see what I mean?
Yeah. There's no way to tell.
Right. Yeah. You literally cannot prove it. I'll send you the Veritasium link
Fuck yeah.
so you can watch a
Wow.
video on this.
A handsome married man who found his wife because she was a fan.
Yeah.
Fucking love that guy.
I highly recommend you ponder this.
Yeah, I'm watching that. That's my Netflix and
As well as some fun geometric calculus.
I don't even know where to start with that. I don't even know where to start.
So there you'll get a brief explanation of speed, as well as a brief explanation of why gravity is not a force.
Oh hell.
You know how you think it's like I'm sure you assume gravity is a force, right? Like that makes sense, right?
Sorry, say that again.
Like like do you assume gravity is a force?
I mean, it feels like a force.
Right, and it pulls you down,
Yeah.
and
Like
you
forces do.
pull things to you. So it's gravity. Gravity's a force, right?
Yeah.
No.
What do you mean no?
I mean, all of gravity, everything you think you know about gravity is wrong.
Oh shit.
So this here is so wrong,
Okay, I'm glad you said that.
but it's probably not for the reason you think.
Huh.
It's hard to explain because I don't know like a ton about it,
Hmm.
but the consensus is that it's not like a well like this, because gravity is like a dimension, right? If you live your whole life, like we live on this, right? But to like a 2D thing, it lives on this. To a 4D thing, it lives on, it's like wacky, wavy.
Yeah.
Weird thing. Time is a dimension, everything, but because of that, like we're missing out on something. That's why it's like impossible to imagine what this is if you're on this.
Yep.
And that's kind of like what gravity is like a little bit.
Huh.
And there's like this whole other dimension of curvature. So anytime you're like falling, you're actually not moving, because instead of what gravity is it's your body changing direction at a constant rate through this dimension of gravity at like a curve. So the acceleration due to gravity is actually due to like the curvature of space in gravity, yeah. And that's why when you're falling, you have like he explains this greatly, but it's like your relative self is completely like isolated from surrounding forces, and that only then are you truly like stationary in relation to yourself.
It's beautiful.
So yeah, well, Einstein actually discovered this. We just don't really talk about it.
We don't really talk about it.
There's a lot of things we don't talk about.
Like it's frowned upon, or just because it doesn't come up.
It a lot of like the way to simplify, because like in schooling we simplify things, right?
Of course.
Like you're doing physics, and they didn't tell you about calculus. They just told you like
You know,
if you do this equation, like you can kind of find acceleration
yeah, you just have
or
to use
whatever.
a whole page or two of paper doing it the dumb way.
Yep, but it just takes too much time to explain like the ground and everything you need to truly understand what like calculus is, to get to the point where you can just do those simple calculations and do it quickly.
Shit.
So that's
Shit.
kind of like what I feel like this is.
Oh my god, that's why aliens aren't talking to us.
I recommend Veritasium's video on that.
Is it the one where he has the people like try to decipher that thing?
That was Vsauce.
Oh yeah.
Actually, I think yeah, it is Vsauce's
That was
video actually though.
Vsauce.
Vsauce does a lot of good stuff on aliens,
Yeah.
and like his perception. You should see his recent one, kind of recent. It was on Mindfield, but Mindfield is free, by the way.
Yeah, it
Right?
is.
Have you watched them?
I paid for YouTube Red to get them, and I
Rip.
just watched them all over again for free.
And that aren't they like amazing?
Yeah, it's like
My favorite one is about the brain and how you can create like a simulated brain with a bunch of people.
I haven't seen that one yet.
What?
What?
What? He goes to his hometown and he takes like 400 people and puts them in like this array of neurons and uses them to create an eye that functions. And a guy can that they put like a digitized like numerical like digit in front of this eyeball that has 8 sensors, and it spits out a value at the end with like binary code, and the dude at the end can say exactly what number it was without knowing anything about the process of it.
Shut up.
It's insane. I totally watch it, but the like idea of the video is like a bunch of atoms make a molecule, molecules make cells, and cells make organs, and organs make people, and people have like a consciousness above their organs, and their organs have a consciousness above the cells. So like by that same logic, as you build back up, like cities have a consciousness that is different from the combined parts of the people. Countries have a combined consciousness above the cities, and the planet, like humanity, is a different consciousness from like each individual country.
The Jesus consciousness.
However you describe it, it is a thing. Because like you know how cities have personalities, you know,
Absolutely.
and like you can feel like there's like a sense of things, and things start to just happen, and as they get more complicated, there's more like things they can do. That's why like I'm a lone man like can't build a city. When you put a couple thousand of them together with no initiative, and you just say like, here's some resources, like eventually they'll build a skyscraper. It's the same idea. You don't need directive, it just kind of happens. Chaos theory too, that goes into that. But anyways,
Yup.
I I recommend that video, and his one about cryo freezing and dying. That was pretty interesting as
That
well.
was cool. The lady and her family pretty much just keeps their heads, but the other people like keep the whole body in that one.
Yeah, it'll be funny when they like scientists eventually prove like it's impossible to bring those people back.
Because we understand other dimensions at that point, and we're like, actually, you can't do
Like,
that.
you know what, these guys are losers.
Yeah.
See you, suckers.
Made a lot of money though.
True.
Bad guys are-
If you want an interesting story about a civilization of people that travel interdimensionally leave behind like the husks of themselves that run like robotic tasks on Earth and then need to return because of a distress signal of a collapsing society run by these like empty beings and have to fight their way through like the darkness to get back. There's a rock opera by Less Friction that goes into that, battles conflicts of pride and love and goals and values.
Who's
You
it
think I'm
by?
joking? Less Friction, LES.
All right. Less Friction. That's amazing.
The
How?
Go to their website if you can, if you look it up, and it breaks down the two albums, part 1 and part 2. Kind of gives you a little thing. He is such a fantastic singer, and they have an like a not an opera. Yeah, technically it's they have a choir, and then they have an entire orchestra.
Oh, you did send the Veritasium stuff.
I did.
Okay, I'm just googling this.
Yep. What, like Less Friction?
Yeah.
Yeah. Brian May from Queen commented on Less Friction, saying that they're like some of the best ever,
Nice.
as says in their quotation that they put. And you got to listen to the self-titled album first, of course,
Of course.
because that's the first album. Loud Torture, best song. My girl I know like deeply has romanticized that song because it's awesome. Because I showed it to her.
Nice. Followed.
And then if you want a different space, like rock album series, Coheed and Cambria. They've got like 8 albums and a comic series about this dude that like travels to defeat this like it's like Star Wars, but like it's like completely different from Star Wars and more like dark, but it's awesome.
Who's that?
Coheed and Cambria. Now, you might not like it because his voice is really high and like weird-ish, but you get used to it and you love it. But you might it might just like put you off enough, which is like fine.
Jarring.
Kind of. It's hard to explain.
I can't even find it. Cohesion in Cambria.
Coheed, like Coheed, and Cambria, Cambria.
God, even their logo is like, well, here we go.
Are you listening?
I'm looking so far.
Looking. Yeah, the logo, it represents this like the alignment of these like intergalactic space stations in this like weird solar system that they have.
Dope.
Oh, did they release a new album? I don't know. I think they changed a little bit now. They like make just like regular music. But originally, Good Apollo, I'm Burning Star 4, Volume 2, that kind of stuff. Crispy.
Crispy. The Aftermath Ascension. The Aftermath Descension. The Afterman.
His hair, dude.
Mm-hmm. Make Mason jealous.
Yeah. Oh yeah, these guys are great. They're so wholesome too.
Really?
Yeah, they're just sweet. They were gonna play at Sweetwater, September, but that had to close down.
Of course.
I was gonna go see 'em.
For like $200.
It was like 10.
It's a concert, not a. I forget what those are called. Kind of like
Like
a TED Talk.
VIP. Yeah.
Yeah, those are expensive. But yeah, if they're not teaching anything, $10.
Yeah, he's also like one of the most technically skilled guitarists because he plays these like really complicated leads parts on his double-headed double neck guitar while singing in this like super high falsetto while like dancing.
Jeez.
Just man of a man.
He's probably always bored.
Yeah.
I will cue. The Dark Sentencer. That's calling my name.
Yeah, that's a good one. That's a good one.
Year of the Black Rainbow. Yep. Cueing that entire album.
Their best albums are, in my opinion, I forget what they're called. There's a couple songs specifically. It's Good Apollo, I'm Burning Star 4, Volume 1. It's the one with like just the giant Roman numeral 4.
Should be easy to find. Yep, there it is.
And then from that, it's Welcome Home, Wake Up, and The Suffering are their best songs.
Huh.
Well, and then In Keeping Secrets of Silent Earth 3 from like that album. It's the same song from the same title of the album, Blood Red Summer, Favorite House Atlantic. Just like such good like different vibes, you know.
Hmm.
Nay, what for why, brother? And then you gotta, if you get into it, man, you gotta do all of the albums in order, and then you have to read the comics because they go into deeper detail about like events that are explained to the songs. And they're called the Armory Wars. It's the series. It's like 13 volumes or something.
Nice.
And his name is Claudius Sanchez. That's the singer. So it's like Coheed, Cambria, and Claudia.
Nice.
It's kind of funny.
Tells a chapter in the saga originally narrated by Sanchez's lyrics. Dude.
Yeah.
What?
So he just started writing the songs and like making this like crazy, you know, rock opera about him just like putting himself in space and like having all these like catastrophic events and like crazy things happening and dealing with his like parents and some like evil stuff and explosions and spaceships and space battles and stuff, and war and all that kind of stuff. And then he was like, you know what? Like these songs are kind of descriptive, but like you just can't, you know, fully visualize things when you're just singing about the events. So like, why don't I just like make a comic series about this graphic novel? Okay, you know, I'll do that. Just did it because he could.
Illustrated by whom?
Not sure.
back.
I've never actually read any of
Manga.
the American manga.
Whatever it looks like.
I hear it's pretty nifty. I've looked at like some like fan pages of it, and people are like, you really don't need to. You actually, the thing is, you don't actually need to know any of the story because all of the songs themselves could be singles, and they would still be good, and they still have like their own meaning,
Huge.
like objectively, but then subjectively based on like the story, they have their own meaning, and then even deeper than that, then they have like a literal meaning of just like the events. I think in keeping Secrets of Silent Earth, it's like literally the taking place of a battle, and at one point he just screams like he's uh like man the guns and take take no prisoners or something like that. But then there's even lyrics about like how he feels as like a character, and then there's lyrics about what like war in total and like sacrifice and change.
Nice.
I'm just saying, I'm putting it out there so you get the vibe. You know,
Exactly.
you have all kinds of stuff to do now, right?
I know. And
Was it
yet, what's on my screen is this. What is a limit?
a limit is the like number a function approaches as you go towards like a value. So what that is right there is saying that the derivative of the function with respect to the change. So derivative means change, right?
Oh, that's news to me.
So the that first bit, like in front of the equal sign, is the change in y basically with respect to the change in time
Hmm.
equals the number it approaches, the number this function approaches as f as the function of time plus h, which is an infinitesimally small number, or basically zero, minus the function regularly divided by that tiny amount of change. So basically, it'd be like, uh, if it wasn't zero, it'd be like three. Say you were trying to go from 3.9 to 4, it would be f of t minus zero point 0.1 minus f of t over 0.1.
Huh.
If that makes sense.
Over the height.
Oh, over the tiny like minute change in that you're like trying to assume.
This is what's under the hood of Serum.
Yeah.
That's fucking
And
crazy.
derivatives are so helpful because if you forget a function, like say you're like, oh, what are the units for energy and workload in this with relationship to like power or something, all you have to do is know the thing above it or below it. So like for energy, it's um, power is above it because that's energy over time, and the thing below it is force in like the scale of units. So if you anti-derive it, you go from force to energy, and if you derive it, you can go from power to energy. Or like find the units to those things.
Work, power, and energy.
Yeah.
Dude, you can go to college forever.
Yeah.
And then you end up getting a job there because you're there anyway.
Right.
And then all of a sudden you're a professor for
Exactly.
30 years. This is the same dude that taught me trigonometry. He teaches. Does this guy just know everything? The organic chemistry tutor.
Probably.
Like, who is this guy?
Yeah, here we go.
It's baffling to me how this is general physics, but it's calculus.
Yeah, it's all the same. It's just like how much you know about it, how much they tell you.
That's the big thing, how much they tell you. I had to like dig and ask this dude like how to turn a graph into a circle and like how that works. But now I know it forever. Like, and it makes so much sense. And I learned what pi actually means,
Yeah, yeah.
which I guess I thought I knew and I didn't fucking know at all.
The cool thing too is like how there's all kinds of cool things you learn from trig, like the fastest route to from point A to point B isn't always a straight line. Sometimes just the right amount of curvature, like a stoichiometry, not stoichiometry. That's chemistry. Brachistrom is actually a curve defined by a point placed on a circle, at the bottom of a circle, as it's rolled from its center point. And if you put something on that, if you let it roll, it'll accelerate just right and be faster than a straight line.
Nice.
Vsauce did a video on that. He actually did that with Adam Savage. They built it. Yeah, there you go.
Is that yeah, they're like homies.
Yeah, they're like homies. So, see?
Yeah.
It's nutty.
It's going with the flow.
You never think.
Right? Because the saying lies to you.
Right. Oh, and just like if you're traveling around Earth, in a plane, the fastest point is definitely not a straight line because you have to deal with curvature and gravitational curvature and the circulation of the Earth and stuff like that.
Yep. Gotta fly up and over.
Mm-hmm.
I remember that by having the Earth always. Always.
Of course.
In fact, my like Steam wallpapers get in the way of this like very basic truth.
Yeah.
So like it's cool to have sometimes, but no, I just need to keep track of time. Coheed and Cambria. He looks like his dad's dad was black.
Who?
What was his name? Carlo?
Adam
No. Sanchez.
Sanchez.
I mean, his name is Sanchez, so.
Yeah.
That's true. The first thing I saw, the first time I saw him, I was like, that dude looks like my nephew.
I did or my dad did genealogy for my great grandma. Because she was like, I never knew my like biological dad, so okay, let's figure it out. And we really kind of did it, and we went pretty far into it. Like they got pretty into it. And we figured out my great grandma, who's like still alive. Her great grandma or great grandma, one of those two, was black. I just kind of was like, huh. I mean, obviously, I'm not.
Dude.
And we're pretty sure we found like her name is hard to track because like didn't have a last name kind of deal. You know what I
Sure.
mean?
Yeah.
But we found her out. I think we found a picture of her, maybe something like that.
Nice. Yeah, that's
Pretty cool though.
so hard to find.
Yeah, we're trying to, but
I
unfortunately, most like records, and you can't go back to like even further than that then because like there's no they didn't have records.
Yeah, exactly.
They didn't have anything. Unfortunately.
Using like literal stone tablets. Just kidding,
Right, right.
but pretty much.
But so cool. I learned I'm pretty not too far related from Elvis Presley. That was interesting.
Hmm.
Tennessee, 'cause there a bunch of my family, like my great grandma's from like Tennessee, like all that southern stuff.
Families aren't that far apart, are they?
No,
No.
that's the thing. Like we would probably be related by at most like 20 generations.
That's trippy.
Actually, I don't know if that I don't know how accurate that is. Let's see. Because like it's exponentially now.
Yeah, they're saying like if the growth rate stays the same or the birth rate stays the same, it's still going to grow exponentially.
Mm-hmm. Oh, okay. So it's 35 generations is
Huh.
like the general max for any two humans on Earth to be related.
Maximum.
For the
Anyone
most
on the
part,
planet.
it at least says BBC, I think. Yeah,
Dude.
at least that's what they say for. Oh no, that's not right. Never mind. Disregard last.
That'd be 1,000 years.
Right. Yeah, that doesn't make sense.
No.
Hmm.
Dude, I understand pi.
Yeah, that's important. That's good.
That's fucking important.
It's not that hard, is it? Like once you get it, like you're like, wow, should have known that.
Yeah. Just have
Wish
to.
somebody told me that.
No shit. Like, I felt kind of bad for keeping him that long, but I didn't feel bad at all.
Right.
Because, dude, the knowledge is so powerful. Like, I don't even know what I would do with this information or with this
There's a
knowledge.
lot of things. You'll eventually see them in use.
Exactly. Exactly. Oh my gosh. Can't wait. Well, I mean, shit, I already did it.
Yeah.
Started at least. Like, fucking XY coordinates of everything I own. Like, what? The next day, literally.
Let's see. I'm still trying to figure out.
The generations.
Yeah, I'm trying to figure out like what the average like person to person generational gap is.
Oh, like 30 years. That's what I typed in just now.
Well, or not generation. I guess kind of. By generation I mean like entire cycle. I guess I don't know what I mean.
I don't know what you mean either. I also measured every room in my apartment
Oh, nice.
and every piece of furniture I own. Oh my god.
You should calculate your like entropy value and like how much you affect the slowing of heat death of the universe just by existing. You can do that. It's by like weight or mass or something or volume.
So what you're saying is find out the weight and or volume of all my shit.
Yeah. Or maybe just even yourself.
That's a good starting point. Fill
See,
up my
so
bathtub.
this is assuming people meet and breed at complete random, it would be an average of 20 generations. But obviously, like that's not how that works. It's entirely based on like countries and cities and stuff.
Yeah. It's all about who you know.
Exactly. Like most people end up dating or getting married with people who live in the same city as them and that they grew up their whole lives.
Yep.
It's just how it works. I don't know if I want to do that.
Honestly, none of my best friends have done that.
That's good.
Shit. I gotta go.
Okay.
I mean, like, move.
Oh, okay.
It's like literally.
Like you want to get out of here? Like,
Yeah, man.
where do you want to go?
I don't know anymore. I'm
80?
thinking over the Atlantic.
Really?
Yeah.
Into like where?
All I can think of is London.
On
Like, it's the most Western.
Western Eastern.
Yeah, the most
Yeah.
Western East.
I would like to live in Norway. Or Liechtenstein. Population 30,000.
Hmm.
0% poverty rate. Average salary $100,000 a year. Or
Adjusted to
median.
US.
Yeah.
Huh. That's sounds like utopia.
Mhm. It's just extremely expensive to live there, and you have to live there for like 6 years to gain a property permit or something, so you can buy property.
Hmm.
Because they don't want just like randoms coming in and buying a house, leaving, making it like a summer house or something. They want you to live there.
Sounds like a gated community
It kind of is.
for an entire country
Yeah, it's
of
cool though.
30,000 people.
Okay, so it looks like about 30 people back is a billion ancestors, and there's been about like 27 billion ancestors. So like say 34 generations or so. That is probably the max that any two people alive would be like related.
Did you just say how many people have ever lived?
Yeah,
37 billion?
something like that. We currently live in a time period where more people are like 107 billion people have lived.
Hmm.
The thing is, like, currently we live in a time where nearly 10% of all people who have ever lived are alive.
Wild.
Yeah, and that's only going to be more to a point, and then it'll like go down. But
Eventually.
so theoretically, by if truly spread apart, we are 34 generations apart, more or less.
Hmm.
But it most likely much closer than that.
Bro.
We're like practically cousins.
Pretty much. And even more so if our families grew up near each other.
Yes. Although it's basically impossible to. You could take a DNA test. You could get ancestry. Figure it out. I have an ancestry. I'm mostly like Slavic, ethnic wise.
Slavic is an ethnicity.
Yeah, like Czechoslovakian.
It's an ethnic. Yeah, yeah, you're right.
That's fun.
Ethno-linguistic. That's what
Yeah,
I like to hear.
that's the thing. Just like a lot of people get really confused when I say this, but I'm like, you can be Jewish or you can be Jewish.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yep.
Because we have a non-Jewish Jewish uh dude in our friend group, and we're like, you're kind of a Jew, but not really. He's like, yeah,
So his mom's a Jew.
pretty much.
Yeah.
He makes hilarious jokes though.
He knows all of them, I'm sure.
Oh yeah. They're like it's sometimes cursed, but overall good stuff.
Nice.
He ate
First,
an entire half pound of cheese the other day.
what the hell?
Yeah.
Oh shit, I'm hungry. I do need to go. I need to eat and I need to watch these videos.
Oh yeah.
And
You
then
need to learn
pass out.
calculus and
And I
all
need to
kinds
learn
of stuff.
I need to learn calculus apparently because honestly, the guy that created Serum had to hire a guy because he didn't even understand the math, and the dude that made Serum's a genius. So,
And then maybe from there you'll learn like matrices. We can do like statistics and standard deviation and probability and quantum physics. We can talk about Schrodinger's principle. We can talk about all kinds of stuff. And then you
what?
can play the beginner's guide.
Just slide that in.
When it goes on sale.
Yeah, for sure. What is your major?
Mechanical engineering.
That's it?
Mm-hmm.
That seems so easy
Yeah.
compared to, like, relatively, that sounds so easy.
Right. But I'll probably come back in like 15 years and do like psychology or something.
Just make it better. Because
I'll just. What?
I'm triggered by my psychology class right now. So.
Why?
Because the lady gave me a 0 on a homework assignment for
Why?
not paraphrasing. I did everything right. She didn't say to paraphrase. She said to identify the parts of this research article, which I did. But I just like copy and pasted the pieces because that's all she asked for. She just wanted to know that we know how to find it. Literally, that's what the
Oh, I
assignment
see what you
said.
mean.
Yep.
Yeah, that's kind of stupid that she did that, but it's also like it's her fault. The wording,
Yep.
like you did the wrong thing, but like it's her wording's fault. So it's like,
Yep.
I wouldn't have counted you off. I'd have been like, just make sure like, I guess I would have just changed the document.
I would have even been okay with 50% off, even though I've gotten A's on all of my other homework assignments. Just
Right.
because, like, I get it. But no, I got a 0. So,
Sounds
psychology.
about right. Yeah, that's okay. You've had bad conditioning.
Yeah.
Yeah.
She's conditioned.
She's conditioning you to hate her.
Literally. Yeah. She's doing a great job. Actually, A+.
Surely.
A+ Pavlovian work, lady.
Salivating like a dog in no time.
For blood. Whatever. All right, dude. Good talk.
Good talk.
All right. Later.
Adios.
Brat. I'm awake. I'm alive. I get better every day. I can do all things through Christ who strengthens me. I'm going to make it. Already made it. My attitude affects my altitude. Whoa, we're coming up on exactly an hour since I restarted this, or an hour since I started recording because he started teaching me calculus. I might just upload this video unedited. I'll do that now.